Alien artifact, a space mission's unforeseen consequences.
The crew of the long-term space mission had been traveling through the vast expanse of space for what felt like an eternity. The mission was to explore a nearby star system that had shown promising signs of habitable planets. But as they approached the third planet, they discovered something unexpected. As they landed on the surface, they came across a strange, metallic object that seemed to have been abandoned. The artifact was massive and had an intricate design that was beyond anything they had ever seen before. The crew had no idea what it was or how it got there, but they knew they had to investigate it. The team of astronauts split up and began to examine the artifact. They found strange symbols etched into the metal, which they couldn't decipher. They took measurements and samples to bring back to the ship for further analysis. As they worked, something strange began to happen. The crew members started to experience strange, vivid dreams that felt like memories. They couldn't explain it, but they knew it was related to the artifact. As time went on, the dreams became more frequent and intense. The crew members started to experience hallucinations and began to act strangely. They would talk in their sleep and sometimes even wake up screaming. The captain of the mission, Jane, realized that something had to be done. She called a meeting with the crew to discuss the situation. They decided to try and communicate with the artifact to see if they could understand what was happening. They set up a communication device and began to transmit messages to the artifact. After several attempts, they received a response. It was a voice, but it wasn't like any language they had ever heard before. It was melodic and hypnotic, and it seemed to be coming from inside their own minds. The voice told them that the artifact was a gateway to another world, a place of pure consciousness. It said that the crew members were being offered a chance to join this world, to become one with the universe. Jane realized that the artifact was affecting their minds, and that it was dangerous. She ordered the crew to stop all communication with the artifact, and to avoid it at all costs. But it was too late. One of the crew members, Alex, had become obsessed with the artifact. He believed that the voice was telling the truth, and that they should all join the other world. He began to sabotage the ship's systems, hoping to force the crew to stay on the planet. Jane and the rest of the crew had to act fast. They confronted Alex, but he had become unhinged. He attacked them with a tool, and they were forced to defend themselves. In the struggle, Alex was killed. The crew knew they had to leave the planet immediately. They gathered what they could and returned to the ship. But as they prepared for takeoff, they realized that something was wrong. They were being held down by an invisible force. They looked out the window and saw that the artifact had lifted off the ground and was floating towards them. They tried to start the engines, but they wouldn't respond. The artifact was pulling them in. The voice spoke to them again, telling them that they had no choice. They were meant to join the other world, and there was no turning back. Jane realized that they had to destroy the artifact. She ordered the crew to gather all the explosives they had and to set them on a timer. They left the ship and ran as fast as they could. As they reached a safe distance, they detonated the explosives. There was a blinding flash of light, and then silence. When they returned to the ship, they found that the artifact was gone. They had destroyed it, but at what cost? The crew members were never the same after that day. They had been changed.